workshop for the city of Vernon, Monday at 5:30, July 3rd, 2023 to order. Candace, invocation, please.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and this time to be together. We ask that you keep the council and the entire community safe and everyone safe through the 4th of July events that will be going on. We ask that you continue to help Mr. Gary and to help him get better. And we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would ask the council to add Mr. Jesse with Pyro Shows as number 1, and then we'll just bump the other 3 down to 2, 3, and 4 on the agenda. Mr. Jesse?
Yes. Hello, my name's Jesse Salveson, and I am with Pyro Shows. I'm the Vice President of Operations. We've been fortunate enough to work for you all. This was the second year, 2022 being the first year. We are headquartered in a small town just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee called La Follette in East Tennessee. We do a lot of work in the Gulf Coast. I was just talking to Mr. Paul of how the owner of and my boss of the company, how they used to work together dating back into the early 90s. My boss bought a radio station here way back when. The radio station didn't do too hot, but it opened the door for a lot of fireworks opportunities. So about 25, 30 years here we are, and we pretty much do almost every fireworks show along the Gulf Coast from Apalachicola all the way to Orange Beach and Gulf Shores. Obviously, I'm sure everybody kind of has talked and is aware of the events that happened and transpired on Saturday. As far as I've been communicating with Becky, she has our official statement. Basically, we were notified of the incident Saturday night. We responded, I think, rather quickly and immediately. I had another truck driver and my area supervisor that runs all of our shows during the 4th in the Panama City area and east to the show site within a couple hours after the events transpired. We are still undergoing investigation and trying to figure out exactly what happened and what went wrong. In being in the fireworks business, our utmost concern is safety. We want to produce a spectacular show, but safety of our spectators and also our crew is number 1 priority. So we're working right now with our internal safety compliance team and our management to kind of figure things out. I think everybody can agree here that it's probably more on the minor end than the major end. And I don't, to my knowledge, this is obviously off the record, but to my knowledge, I do not know of anybody that has sustained any injuries that required to seek medical attention. We want to apologize for what happened. I'm sincerely sorry. And as far as what the future looks like, we definitely would want to work for the city of Vernon again. And moving forward, I ask you, of you all, we want to do whatever is fair from you all. As far as this show, payment, money, and next year, I would ask you all to maybe come up with whatever you think is fair and just treatment for obviously the event that has transpired, and we will do whatever you all think is fair and see fit. We want to make sure that you are taken care of, and we want to make sure that we make it right by you and the patrons of the city of Vernon.
Appreciate that. Mr. Jesse, I'll say this. We had a contract. The contract was fulfilled. As far as I'm concerned, we all voted for you to be paid, and I see no reason why that shouldn't happen. The checks have been signed, and if the rest of the council has no issue, I think that he should be able, the company should have their check for the payment.
You did your job, and everybody enjoyed it. Because I was in the midst of a crowd, and they were just screaming. They enjoyed it, and so once you do your job, we owe you.
Accidents happen. This was a minor incident, in my opinion. It's my understanding that the fire chief that was on scene and one of the Washington County deputies stated that there was no one that came and reported an injury or filed, anything with law enforcement. There was nobody treated on scene. It's my understanding from our fire chief who was there that night. Nobody has contacted the city of Vernon today to report any injuries. I'm thankful that there weren't any, and I've watched videos from all sides. I was there during the day, back and forth most of the day, but I actually was not there, so I've looked at a lot of videos. And in talking to a lot of people, just myself personally, most everybody that I have talked to that wasn't directly involved in that short incident, everybody, it was a great show. Nobody,
Well, thank you for that.
nobody knew anything except those that were directly involved. And I've not personally received any complaints or anything about it. The only thing that I could say was that, obviously there was a delay. And I'm not sure that it ran as long as it normally would. Those would be my only considerations in moving forward.
Yes, and let me address that.
Can I, real quick, I hate to cut you. You don't know, but your guy that was running the fireworks thing was in direct contact with me the whole night. So me and him planned out, basically what we done was, 15 minutes before 9 o'clock, he was gonna contact me on the phone. I've been with him all day long, back and forth. And 15 minutes before he was gonna contact me, I was gonna let the entertainment guy know to announce it. And then 5 minutes till, I was gonna shut the lights off. And then at about, I think it was like 10 minutes till, he contacted me and said that they had complications. He didn't say what it was. So I let the band know. Well, then one of the council members called me that was wanting to know. So I told her what they told me, and then I tried to call him back to see what the holdup was, because everybody was bombarding us by then.
Right.
It was just, the phone was blowing up, and because everybody knew I was in charge of the lights. And then I just told him that that's all I could tell him. So when I called him back, he said, well, we're going as fast as we can. And then that's when we got the instructions to, I think it was 25 after, shut the lights off.
Yeah, I think you had called, Rebecca had called me, and I'd called them, and I said, we need to
I didn't know.
We need to get some
And
fireworks
I'm not
there.
sure
So-
that one had anything to do with the other
I don't
either. So,
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Yeah.
their technical they were having experiencing technical difficulties with the firing system that they were using. That firing system has since been pulled out. We'll never be sent here again. Also, next year you will have a good different crew. So
And they were
we'll make
real-
sure.
they were real
No,
good.
and they're very good,
Yeah.
very good crew, and have shot for me for years, and we've never had an issue. Of course, last year I think you said one of the best shows you've ever had. So nothing to their fault. They were having some issues with some faulty equipment in the firing system. That firing system will never be back. It's been pulled out of our
Thank you.
out of use. Thank you for your information. I do say, as far as, like I said, there was no fault of the crew. The one guy, it's a father-son combination. The father had been shooting for, I think this was his 19th year. So plenty of years of experience. They know what they're doing. But they had actually called me a couple weeks before the 4th and said, hey, our jobs are kind of taking a different turn. We're probably going to hang up our fireworks cleats after this year. So you will probably have a completely different crew. It will be a completely different firing system. And as we get closer to next year and the date, we'll be happy to have set up a meeting with you and the fire chief and whoever would want to attend, and my crew coming, and to go over and make sure we have a good plan for success. So.
Thank you.
does anybody have anything for Mr. Jesse?
honestly, I stayed, I was there till the end. I stayed with the fire chief and the officer. I was on the field, direct line. Saved a lot of people, and I know safety's first. Thank God no one got hurt. The vehicle saved a bunch of people. When they started shooting off, I didn't know what was happening. You know, I tell people, it happened so quick, people took off running, hid behind the cars, but the fireworks, you know, like I said, 80% of them hit the vehicles. I mean, a direct line of the vehicle, so the people that was on the vehicle, I mean, they was close. I mean, people on the, because we down a hill, there's a hill there, we down in the field. They went over us, a lot of them, and toward the dugouts, but it was like missiles. I mean, it was direct fire straight to us, and a lot of them, like I said, hit the vehicles, but knock on wood, you know, no reports. I stayed, you know, waiting on the 4.5 minutes to go off if y'all was gonna shoot them or whatever was gonna happen at the end, and I stayed there with the officer and the vehicle that got the damage, the one, but on your behalf and the city's behalf, we've been fortunate.
Yes.
We probably, and I was telling our attorney, and I've told a lot of people, it's like me loading my shotgun. First of all, I don't know where the ammunition's been loaded. When I put it in there, I'm like, it's gonna misfire, shoot, or blow my gun up. I've had it all three happen. So it's just like them fireworks. You don't know, you know, who loaded them, if they overloaded them, whatever. That's the risk you take, and that's why you got insurance. You know, we know that. We appreciate what y'all done in the past. Appreciate what everybody has done for 4th of July in the city of Vernon. We could go a different route, and I'm gonna mention it to the council tonight. Or backing the people up, y'all up, away from the crowd.
Yeah, and
right
I think that's a great idea. More distance is better.
Monty last night, it lasted 25 minutes. They was 600 to 800 yards from the crowd. You know, plenty of room inside a chain link fence, and we can back ours up. We just have to go the right procedure through our county and get permission and back y'all up. So off of that highway and off of the people.
And I think that's a very good idea. The NFPA 1123 is a code that we follow for fireworks, and it calls for 70 feet per inch of the shell size of a firework. So a 3-inch shell separation fallout distance is 3 inches times 70 feet, 210 feet. Your fireworks show, we shoot up to 4-inch shells. So that circle, if you've seen that sight diagram, our safety zone, fallout zone, however you want to call it, is 280 feet. Us as a company, we've been even contemplating going to 100 feet per inch. We've been talking about that for the last year or two, just because more distance is better. Now, you don't want to get so far away, your audience so far away that they don't feel like the fireworks are for them. But again, being, you know, 500, 600, 700, 800 feet away, you're still fine.
Yeah.
So, but I agree, if we can go to a different side or push back more into that field, I think that would definitely be something that we can do. And I'll be happy to come take a look and meet with whoever when those discussions arise. What I do want to do is, I know I want to make sure that we make this right, and what I do want to do is I want to offer that there were some fireworks that obviously didn't shoot. All of those fireworks we will add back to your show in next year's version. It won't be anything faulty from that we brought back from this show, but we will, if you had 15 fireworks that didn't go, or whatever the number may be, I haven't got a final count, but all of that will be added back to your show for next year.
So maybe
free of charge.
So it would probably be a few extra minutes.
Yeah, we can make it go a few extra minutes, however long you all want to do. I think it's normally about a 15-minute show.
It was,
So, and then I also want to, next year I want to, we'll offer you at least a 20% discount. We'll do the same show for 20% less. And there will be no price increase. We want to make things right by you. I know that you all have experienced some turmoil, not so much turmoil, but phone calls and extra work, and we just want to make it right. So we want to offer that to you I think your show this year's like, was 18,150?
18.5.
18.5. So we will do the same show, 18.5 less 20%, plus add all of the product that did not fire to your show for next year.
Thank you.
Sounds really good to me because
It was 18,150, cause I got.
18. I thought it was 18,150,
Yeah, I don't want to put on record
but
18.5.
my memory's not always the best, especially
Okay.
this time of year.
so 18,150 minus 20% plus the.
Yeah, and I'll get a final count and let you know what once all our madness is
I
over.
understand you still have an investigation to do.
And thank you for bearing with us, and I'm glad that I was able to make it down here today.
And I appreciate you coming, and I really appreciate you answering your phone Saturday night and
Oh, no
following
problem.
so quickly
And
up on
Sunday.
everything. And Sunday.
I always answer the
I've
phone.
been, pretty much, me or Candace, one has been in total contact with him. I don't even know how many times we've texted or talked since all this happened, and him and his people.
Well, I'm always
really
available
done a good job.
for anything you need. So
I appreciate that. So if council is agreeable, we can either put this for our next workshop to discuss, or we can put it up for our next meeting and then go ahead and, if y'all want to, set up a contract for next year. That way we won't have to worry about fireworks show.
Go ahead and set that up.
Put it on the agenda, and Jesse, if you would, I guess, send us a contract.
Okay.
Candace.
Yeah.
Our next meeting is
In 2 weeks.
17th.
It's the 17th.
17th, yes.
Would that be too soon for you to have?
July 17th.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just send it to Candace, so
Yeah,
we'll
no
have it
problem.
for the meeting.
And I will
Well-
send you. I'm pretty sure I have your email, or my assistant probably has your email.
Actually,
And I'll send you an email just following up and lining out what the conversation, the 18,150, 20%,
yes, sir.
so that we have it in writing and I don't forget. And then we can get you a contract as well.
Okay, yeah, because we just need our attorney to review it.
No problem.
But if we.
Absolutely,
We can
yeah.
actually vote on that on the 17th.
We can have that to you, no problem.
All right, I thank you so much for coming. I know
All right.
you're traveling. Does anybody else have anything for Jesse?
I appreciate it.
I thank you very much.
Thank you all for being so understanding. Again, we deepest and sincere apologies for how the show went. Obviously,
Well,
we never
people
want that to
enjoyed
happen.
It's, like I said, it was a. I know
It was a good show until,
Yeah.
yeah, and I've seen some videos, and I mean, yeah, it was a good show until it
Well,
wasn't.
we-
It
So-
was actually a good, even with that.
Because we thought that was part of the show.
Well, that's,
Yes, we did. Because you know what, we was in the school parking lot, and then I saw, because I said to my sister, that's kind of low to the ground, ain't it? And she said, yes. I said, we thought it was part of the show.
that's not the first time that's happened where things have not shot properly and people thought, yeah, so.
We thought it was part of the show.
But we really do appreciate you.
Well,
We've
again,
asked-
we appreciate you, and we want to continue to work for you. We want to make it right, and we will make it right next year. And I may even try to be down here for the show next year.
Well, that would be great. And we
All righty.
really appreciate you.
Anything else? Anybody else have any questions?
No, sir, you have safe travels.
All
I know
right.
you got somewhere
Thank
gotta
you all.
be.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Number 2, rec contract review and discuss request for track use for event.
What now?
Is our number 2, is the rec contract review
And then y'all said y'all would discuss using the,
and whether or not we're gonna allow the use of the track, but work, I think, he's not here.
Who?
It's Timothy Garner. I thought when we put this to the workshop, he was gonna have us some more information on what amount was gonna be donated to rec, like a percentage.
yeah,
And
I didn't call him.
he knew when the workshop was.
here.
I
He
know,
was
I'm just
here.
saying, I didn't say be here, I just want y'all to know.
No, we just,
No,
it was
okay, you have to
discussed
call.
in the meeting. So,
And we told him to come back with his proposal.
Well, and I recall that he got up at one point and went to walk away and then came back and he was talking about changing the dates, but he was still supposed to have us a percentage wise or something of
Some kind of proposal.
what he was gonna give to Red and what was going elsewhere for the use of the track.
I just put it on the next workshop.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
What
He
about-
might be in South Florida.
What about his?
Probably is.
His
His
son.
maybe,
Yeah, he's down there.
Yeah.
okay. So what, the rec contract too, we're just gonna move it all to the next workshop?
He's here, neither one of them.
Okay, that works for me. All right, number 3, plaques for the trees.
They came in, I sent y'all a picture, did everybody see the pictures of the plaques a
Mhm.
couple weeks ago? I didn't figure you would have to vote on a date to do that, but if you do, okay, but I thought you might wanna make it some kind of
Dedication.
dedication.
Well, we have to need to notify the.
Yeah, so I figured y'all wanna set a date, you know, come up with a date or something.
Do we wanna do that on a weekend?
It probably would be better like on a Saturday morning or something.
Saturday
because-
morning or Saturday afternoon, something?
Something like that. I think Saturday morning might be better, because then people can go on and do what they wanna do later,
Okay, do we want to, I don't know if we're gonna get any cooler weather, if it's just gonna keep getting hotter until.
It's gonna be as hot. No, it ain't gonna be cool right
And
there.
it's hotter in the afternoon than it is.
In the morning.
Well, and Tina's it's peak season right now, so she's cleaning.
She's clean, she's in
She
her
probably
peak
leaves,
Saturday.
I mean, she doesn't leave early because checkouts are later, but
Who?
Tina, I know she'd wanna be here for her
Yeah.
mama's dedication.
The next 2 Saturdays, I'm be.
Well, we can set it out.
Yeah, just.
We don't have to do it in August, we could do it
We can let it.
go until the school if you want, like
Y'all
in
wanna do
September or
that?
something, when the beach
Set it up for
cabin is
Labor Day?
gone and Tina is,
I'll just look at a date and bring that to y'all at the meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, number 4, business license questions.
I don't know y'all's last name, I'm sorry. Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry, and that's also, they signed in, I believe, under public participation.
Yeah, you want me to get that for you?
I don't need it, it's
Okay.
just their names and they just gave us that, so.
They had come in for a business license for kayak rentals last week, and they live down Traverse, which I know is, residential. Also had 2 more people come in for business license since then, and I didn't give anybody one because of their residential areas, so I wasn't comfortable doing that until the council had discussed it.
is that area commercial?
No, ma'am.
I don't have to go through the county. Sure.
I don't have your, licenses, ordinances memorized, so I don't know if y'all allow any kind of, I assume a kayak rental business is probably not an at-home business that you might permit in residential areas. I don't know what you classify kayak rentals as.
And this is the, if I'm understanding, this is the same business that's been discussed before where we didn't know if it was city or county on other issues.
Well, I know.
Yes,
First,
yeah.
let me
Yeah, I
ask
think
y'all,
so.
first of all, what's y'all's intentions?
We just wanted to make sure that, you guys were aware that 3 houses down from us on the same road is Dana runs her canoe, operating business too. And her property is also the exact same residential. She's just down the road from
I don't
us.
know.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought she didn't do that any longer.
Well, we just talked to her the other day, and she said she'd been doing it for 15 years.
I know, but I'm
She's taking a
saying,
little
is she
time off
still
from
doing
it, but she only does it like occasionally
I
now,
thought she said she was.
for bigger groups. Yeah.
Are we talking about, I can't think of the name of the road that Miss Eileen used to live on that goes down to the landing.
No, it's on
No.
Traverse Drive.
Tra-
No, but
Traverse up
she just
there.
mentioned somebody else that's.
Oh,
there was she.
That particular person, didn't they rent them at their house and then take them somewhere, or they,
I don't know what Dana did, but I remember when she had it.
She's got a
Because I
big
was-
sign still on the house yet, too.
I remember but I know they had said she had stopped doing it.
She used to allow either you could get in there and paddle up, or she would drop you off, which is the same kind of thing we're looking at wanting to do.
okay, I must be thinking of somebody different, because the person I'm thinking about just rented canoes at their home, and then Vicky would take them and go to the landing, then bring them back. So I don't know who Dana is apparently, or
She
that
was
there
on
was
the
another kayak.
TDC with me, that's why I know. She was on the church development council when I was on
Is that something you need to look
I
at
think
before we do?
I think it is.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't give you any advice tonight, I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Well, the county does a lot of our, like the place by me, you know, right next to me, that's low density residential.
And
And
that had to
you
go
cannot
through
do, there's a
county.
lot of rules over there that you cannot do with that property, that's where that store is,
Right.
where the restaurant.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can't do over there because of the area. So, but the county governs that. The county has told me well, they told them what they could do over there. The county did. So they're the ones that, have these places under certain,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and that's not knowing what the rules and regulations are on that. This is a workshop, we can discuss it, but we can't vote to do anything about it tonight. There's gonna have to be some research done on it. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, I have to look at your comp plan and then look at so the comp plan is what the county regulates, that's what the county lays out.
And this is
What's residential, what's commercial, and what's allowed in those areas. But then you have your own land use regulations, maybe, that identify, things that certain types of businesses maybe that are permissible in residential areas. Usually those are at-home businesses where you don't have the public coming and going a lot. It might be something like a hairdresser or,
and I know that we've had those in the past, I'm not sure about this one, and I know it's come up before, not the business license, but who was responsible as far as city and county?
right.
And you're talking about, this is just a canoe rental, like we've got there.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
it.
the neighbor lady, she had, I don't know, she did it for over 15 years, her dad did, in the same area.
But we don't
know the
know if she has a license in the
Right.
city or not.
She did. She told me just go up to the
Water.
water thing, like I talked to.
Where she
I
said she
just,
went.
I couldn't
And she
find
goes, you
one.
just sign for it and you
I
get a
went-
little paper, it gives you your license. She goes, it doesn't cost nothing, but you gotta renew it every year, which
We
doesn't cost
understand the
nothing.
license that you're talking about. We know about the license, but I'm just saying, I don't know if that particular person ever had one.
They haven't had one. I went back to 19 as far as my books go back. There was not any there. I also had another canoe place come to renew theirs one day last week after y'all had come because they thought they normally do have one, they said, but they had not renewed it. So I also did not issue that one. And then I had a young man come today that wanted to have a business catching snakes. And I also did not issue that one because, yeah, so I didn't want to be involved in the middle of a,
yeah. And we talked to the one, well, we looked it up, none of the other kayak places, well, the one we looked up is not commercial property either.
And they're in the city limits too, the big one on the road. 'Cause we went up there and asked them, they're probably the ones that came and talked to me,
Canoe
because they were like,
Adventure.
oh yeah, we didn't renew that. Because we went and asked them when we seen they were in the
Where are
exact
you
same.
talking
Where
about
are
on the
you talking about?
road?
There's
Where?
two, there's
New
one in town and
Adventures.
one not.
The ones that are in a row,
New Adventures and Snaggy, which they changed over.
Changed the name.
Brent's got one and.
it was Brent that,
Yeah, Brian.
it was Candace that
There's
came
two of them
out.
out there.
But,
yeah.
Where is that at?
right
And their property
on the
is-
edge of the city limits.
Their property is listed as residential.
But they rent
Mhm.
there, but then they haul to the creek. What you're
Yeah.
talking about
Yep.
is
Or you
renting
can get in there and
access to the
paddle up.
creek
On the
your
days
property.
when they're people that show, like our kids, they help unload them. When those people don't show up and they don't have people, they let them just get in. And they just paddle up. They even do that at the library too. People paddle all the way up from the library.
Okay,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to clarify here is, I know that specific group there isn't putting anybody in the creek off their property. That's what you're asking for a business license to do, right?
They're doing both. You can rent either way. You can get in there and
Yeah,
paddle
we
up, or, yeah, the library does the same thing also. You can get in at the library and paddle up. They have different prices for it if they're transporting you.
Hey, this is that where the campground is?
Okay, I'm getting confused.
No,
There's several
just past
canoe
fire
places. The
department.
ones up
Right there
past the fire
at Brent
department
Gaming.
are not
Okay.
loading off their property into the creek.
Only occasionally, not on a normal basis. Most people don't want to paddle up.
There's
They-
the gas line
That's where they pull out at,
Yeah.
the gas
They're
line.
there every day.
And we've seen people put in there too, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's like,
They're getting out on their
kayak
property, or they
At
can get in,
least-
it's a different price.
at
Like,
least
it's
4,
cheaper if you don't transport the person.
at least 4 or 5 times a day I go to the spring.
That's the game stuff there. You know what that little
Yeah, I know
house
where they're
is?
at, but I thought they were
The little
going to
house.
landings.
They do.
No.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they come out. I was up there Friday. And I seen them Friday. Over there in the Springs. I was over on the jet ski Friday and they was coming out at the pipeline.
Yeah, they got.
All it is a lesser price. When they go to the Springs, they come out at the pipeline.
See, I never
They
knew
ain't
that.
going in right now.
I thought they were hauling.
They haul them up there above
Not
the cotton
anything on
land.
their property.
Oh, they do haul them.
Yeah, they haul them cotton land. But you can't drop them off. If you rent a canoe, if you own your own canoe and, you can put in at Culpeper's right now and come out there. But if you rent from any of the places, it's a fine, a stiff fine. And that's what they're writing tickets for. So if you rent from any of these places and you come out at Culpeper's, you're getting a ticket because they waiting on you. And, that's the problem we got right now with the county. I talked to the county, I talked to the commissioners about it. Now, their ordeal, I don't know where the county line falls, I mean, the city property falls, their pipeline, I think the pipeline's on, the county. I know Gainey had to go through the county to get his, doings. I don't think he come through the city, now he might have paid the city for a business license, but he went through the county, I do know that because he had problems.
Have you been to the county?
Yeah,
They said that they don't do kayak rental businesses.
Do what now?
there's no license for a kayak rental in Washington County, you have to. I mean,
They said they gave me a paper, and it says to just do all the tax stuff. There's 3
Yeah.
different programs that you apply for, I can't remember it all, but yeah, they don't do an actual license for it, you just have to apply for your tax number, everything's through the
Your
government,
ID.
like the federal, like bigger part of the government.
So our concern would be that if we issue you a license for an activity that's not permissible on that particular land use, that's where we have a problem, because we're doing something that's not in compliance with our comp plan. So that's part that I need to research. And there may be operators right now that are operating, activities that are not in compliance with the comp plan.
well, yeah, I mean, I never did it for 15 years.
We just wanna be allowed to do what everyone else
Yeah.
is doing,
Yeah, exactly.
that's it. And we're just trying to take the right procedure of getting there.
Okay, so at this point, she's gonna have to do some research before we can approve anything. or
Do
find
we
out.
have an idea, like how we get back in touch with you guys, or how does that work? Do we come back to the next meeting?
Generally, she gives us the information at our meetings or our workshops, and we
Okay.
have, our workshops are on the first Mondays of the month, and our voting meetings are on the third
Okay,
Monday of the month.
And I'll get with the county attorneys, I'll try to by the end of the week, hopefully they're working. But definitely by the next meeting, I'll have
Okay.
a report back for you.
okay.
And that's the 17th. And until then, the little snake catcher boy.
Is that against the law?
good insurance.
He has, no, well, I thought that
He's
they.
not doing it from his house. He's going to go to your home and catch a snake that if you have a pesky snake, I guess.
But don't he have no, there's some kind of, you have to have some
That's
kind of
not,
special license.
that's not a
don't you?
license that the city would issue, I don't think. I think that has to be,
It's pest control.
You let us check for that?
It's probably under generic.
it may be.
But I thought
Well,
you have to have a
research.
special license to do something like that. I would think, if you would have, cause that's a risk to take, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Let me ask you this, was he an adult?
I'm not sure.
I don't believe we issue business licenses.
How old was he?
I didn't ask him.
We need to find out, cause
I
he
knew
might.
I knew I wasn't giving it to him today anyway, so I just told him I'd call it. He did have a cell phone, and I told him I'd call him back tomorrow. He might be 18. I'm not sure.
Y'all could be killing child's entrepreneurial spirit.
Catch a snake. Kids.
But he did put up a flyer in the office.
Well, I guess we'll have to address that next week, because I don't have an answer on that. I know that we issue business license for all kinds of things. My concern is like Michelle said, are we issuing a license for something we're not supposed to do?
Well,
It's being-
maybe you need to get in touch with the wildlife.
I'm not talking about the snake, I'm talking
No,
about.
you're talking about the snake.
No, that's my only concern is that because it's going from property to the creek, I just don't wanna get the city in trouble if we're issuing something we're not supposed to do. If we are, well, that's fine, but we need to know, and the only way we're gonna know is if it's trying to find out.
It's involved with that creek, you know that. DEP has a lot to do with that creek down there.
Well, and that's my thing, it's like Michelle said, we need to see, because we may have issued license to somebody that we weren't supposed to, but I didn't know, I honestly did not know that particular group out there was putting it off from their property. I thought they were just hauling the
I don't
land.
think the gates are in the city limit, they're rather at the side.
It's right there close, I know. And see, the other one at the park, that's outside the city limits,
Yeah,
so that's county.
and I think, if I remember right, my water line's in at Collins's driveway by side of the church. So all that way is not, I think
They,
it's,
they don't have city water or sewer.
yeah, so I don't think they're in the city limits, but I don't.
So are they in the county?
100%.
Well, I'm not sure exactly where they are. I mean, I haven't driven out there and looked, and I don't know. The only one that I have a license for that I could find in the book was the new one that is in the commercial zone right up here by the dollar store.
And they are hauling the land, and they are not putting them in.
But they are in a commercial
Yes.
zone, so that license has been issued.
Well, if y'all give us some time, she'll get us some information, and we should have something back by the next regular meeting on the 17th.
And thank you for your patience.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't like to be the person that tells people no, but I also don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, Dana said, just go up there, you just go and walk in there and just tell them your name, what you're doing, and they'll give you this little piece of paper.
Back that 19 years ago.
You're good to go.
Things have changed then.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
I add
everyone.
a number 5 to
Yes,
the
ma'am. Thank you all so much. Yes, number 5.
The AC in the office has been out 6 weeks, 2 months, I don't know. We've had Freon put in twice, some kind of motherboard, something, and a motor. It's still 80 degrees in there. I talked to the company last week and Thursday. The reason it's not on here is because they said it was fixed. And so when I had done the packets, but it was not. And then they said, well, we probably could have replaced the air handler, but all the stuff we've done so far. So I've got some bids coming for that, just to let y'all know, because it is 80 degrees in the office. And it
That's
has
not
been.
good.
That's not good. You're gonna have to go home. We can't work you in here. You can sue us.
You know, my office is okay. I'm pushing mine down to try to push
Our
the air
deputy
into
clerk's
there.
office, that's.
That's hot.
It's-
So, yeah, but I was there.
But even mine's running
Yours is
mid-70s
warm.
because I'm trying to push it to the main office.
It's too hot for
Candace,
that.
the person that's working on it, they know what's going on, or they just guess?
Now, I think they said, well, so what I kind of am understanding is an original motor that they changed. They changed it with a non-original motor, like a replacement thing. And that was a $400 thing. So I said, yeah, do it. I don't have to get permission for that. Apparently, it's not working with the system, and it would take an original motor to work with the system, and an original motor is $1,600, which I found this out Thursday
You
afternoon.
should have been told before
And-
you said go ahead.
Now they said it would have been cheaper to replace the air.
What, they gonna
The same one that's been working on it all this time said.
Yeah.
I just told them to give me a price that I'd be contacting a couple other people. They're good people. It's nothing to do with them. I'm not gonna ask Carolyn to keep sitting in 80 degree. I told her to come stay in my office until somebody comes in. So
That's fine, just get it.
she won't, but I mean, you know,
Get some quotes.
oh, and I'm sorry, the last thing was, I gotta remember it. On the statements and things, just to let y'all know, I've had a lot of calls from news reporters over the last couple of days. I reached out to, Mr. Gary to try to get some statements. I wasn't able to speak to him. Miss Lori called me back, to tell me that he said that was fine, but I did not want to be the one giving, I didn't feel it was my place to give a statement. I gave a very brief, what our attorney said to say statement, but that's all I've done. And there's more, I've got messages on my phone, somehow they got my personal number and are wanting statements, but I've not returned those calls.
They're used to that. You don't have to worry about it.
Since, I have two things, let me get it out before I forget. Since, Jesse's office has reached out to one of the news people that contacted their office. He sent a statement, he texted it to me, I texted it to Candace, she printed it for the attorney.
Yeah, I've got some here for y'all to read.
And I asked Michelle about it before the meeting. I think that should stand. I don't see any reason for us to have to keep giving statements to
That was
the
from
news.
the fireworks people.
And Michelle agreed that that's enough. So in my mind, if the city of Vernon is contacted, a statement has already been given, and that should be the end of it.
Jesse emailed that to us this afternoon as well. We'll put that on the website. I'll just refer anybody to the website.
Okay, and I did speak with Jesse beforehand, before the meeting, and asked him if he had a problem with that, and he didn't. And then I gave it to the attorney, and she said that was fine. So as for me, I think, and I'm not trying to be ugly here, but I haven't heard from Channel 7 or 13 on anything good that Vernon's done in the last 15 years.
You
So,
want now?
I've not heard anything from Channel 7 or 13 in the last
Oh, they don't
15
come,
years
it's
good
a
about
bad
Vernon.
year. They don't come, they don't never put anything good on.
They're not calling you to tell everybody that it was a great event and that nothing bad happened.
And
Trust
they-
me.
they
That's not the
didn't
reason
show
they're
up,
And they
contacting.
don't never put on there that we're
So,
having
and
our
I'm not,
Fourth of July,
I'm not
none
trying
of
to
that.
say anything bad about it, I'm just saying it is what it is. This is the first time in 15 years that I've known that the city's been contacted by them.
Well, they've contacted us out.
Well, I'm sure, but, always about something.
Something, it wasn't always about something bad.
I mean, we have, 4th of July,
There
we
you
have
go.
the
You don't
Christmas
have to give,
bazaar.
well, I'm not
We have
giving, you
lots
don't
of
have to
things,
give.
and only our locals cover it, so.
Just let
I
it
think
go,
it's
because
statement.
this man has put out his statement, they're responsible, he took on the responsibility, full responsibility for this. So we're done with it, the city is done with it.
That's the way I feel about it, and also, you all realize that fireworks going up next year, and next year, so the fact that they did that and gave us 20% on this minor incident, I think it was very good.
I think he made it right.
The second thing, which was actually the first thing, but you said something that struck me, and I don't want to be the bad guy here, but you said that you reached out to Mr. Gary and Laura, his wife contacted you back and gave you the information. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. And they were on their way to the doctor this morning, so she sent me a text.
He's having a hard time talking. I think she's just talking for him. Is that on his city phone?
Well, what was it, was he giving a statement?
No, my concern is, and I'm not trying to be ugly here, but,
He ha-
and I understand.
He does not have a city phone. He has his phone that we use to reach. He has a
I
city
know his
phone that he
home
does not
phone.
use.
Okay.
He does not use his city phone. So I messaged his phone, because the statements that I did give yesterday, they still wanted to speak to the mayor. And so I try not to bother him too much, with everything going on right now, but I did send that message over. And, Miss Lori said they were on their way to the doctor in Destin, and, call me on my phone if you need anything. Thank you, Lori.
I'm sorry, but your spouses can't be responsible for city business.
That was my concern.
I don't think y'all have a formal policy on this, but none of your spouses should have access to your city phone if you have one, or, the mayor handles a lot of, I'm supposed to handle a lot of day-to-day employment issues. a huge liability to,
Where do we, let me ask y'all, who knows where we stand? How far is Gary out? Does anybody talk? I haven't talked to him lately.
I don't know, but here, let me get this out, cause I'm not trying to be ugly here, but there was an issue. And Candace, I'm not trying to throw you in the bus, but I just did, I'm sorry. There was an issue previously.
She's doing good.
It's all right,
Yeah.
I'm fluffy, I can take it, I get switched.
There was that's what struck me about what she just said, is because I know of a previous issue several months back when contact was made with Candace concerning an issue here in town that was supposed to be by the mayor. The mayor was in the hospital at the time, and the text may or may not have come from him, and there was a question about it. And she mentioned that to me. She was concerned. And when she just said what she did just then, it struck her that that's not the first time that this has happened, and I'm concerned for the city. I'm concerned for Gary, and I want him to get well, and I'll do anything we can to help him. I'll cover whatever needs to be covered, but I'm concerned if Candace doesn't know if she's getting an email or a text from Gary, how is she supposed to respond and follow through? If it's the mayor, it's one thing, but if it's his wife, it's something else.
I understand that, but this is, and y'all know, some of us council members don't know, how much business has Gary been doing? I know in previous, if the mayor was gone, something happened to the mayor, it's up to the president to take the responsibilities. And in this situation, I hadn't talked to Gary personally in a while. I don't know if he's getting better, I know, ain't nobody said he's getting worse, but, his seat's here, he's getting paid, just like we are. Now, I don't know how much business he's doing for the city, as far as keeping up, the city's probably getting behind if you're not picking up the slack.
Well, here's where I'm at with it. I was doing what was coming up, just like I did when the mayor resigned before. When Gary came on as mayor, I gave him what he was supposed to have while he was in the hospital and all. I did what had to be done. There was a meeting and some papers that needed to be signed. But we've got all this grant stuff and all this FEMA stuff going on, and that basically falls to the mayor. And since Gary was sworn in at home, I've not went to a meeting, I've not had to sign a piece of paper. I think Candace has had to go to his home to have some paperwork signed, but that kind of reverted back to him, and he's not contacted me for any help about anything else. I don't mind doing whatever, but right now, he's the mayor.
Well, we
That's what
need
I'm
to make you
saying,
the
as
pro
a
tem
council member,
again.
I don't want, we got a mayor, he's been sworn in, he's at home. But the thing is, I don't want you, like the grant situation and the process and all, and you sign something, and it's not your duties, and we still got a mayor that's getting paid for the
Well,
same
and that's what
duties.
I have not, since he was sworn in,
You haven't signed it.
I haven't signed anything that the mayor was supposed to sign. Candace is making sure that he does it. And
Have you signed?
my raised
Oh, I don't sign
eyebrows.
for him.
Okay,
No.
so,
I've been doing his communications and all of those things, but if it's anything that has to be signed, I have called and asked for him. to
My
sign.
eyebrow was raised tonight because I know that this is at least the second time that this has happened. I didn't say anything
I
about it
have
the
a
first
problem too,
time.
because you don't know who's sending the texts, first of all. If it's Gary or his wife. First of all, his wife really ain't got no business, sending texts.
And I understand he's sick and he may not be able to talk and all that, but if that's the case, then we need to do something else until he can get to where he can. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or make you, we all love Gary to death.
I go over there. He's fine, but he's just having a problem speaking. And so they've got their language going on together. He says something, she just speaks for him, but he's saying it. But right now, while he still has a trach, it's a little bit hard for him to talk. But he's fine, he's working and he's doing well. He keeps a lot of congestion, and it makes it very
Yeah,
difficult.
and I'm not trying to put
No, no.
personal information out there. I'm just saying,
yeah. I think we're at a point where maybe he needs to consider a leave of absence. I mean, if he's not able to do his job, that's okay. It is what it is. If any other employee would be expected to, take medical leave and to come back when they're able to fulfill their duties.
We're not gonna take anything from him.
Yeah, If he's not able to do it,
But
the
then we
work,
need
then
to
he
go back
has
to the
take
pro
leave.
tem like we had before. When he was in the hospital, before he became it, remember? You was a pro tem, so you was signing those papers. But we have to vote for her to do that.
Well, I'll be honest with y'all, that is not, my red flag was because I'm concerned for Candace.
I know.
Because if I was in her position, knowing that she reported that particular instance to me months ago, and I don't know if it happened again, so I didn't say anything about it. But tonight, it raised an eyebrow, and I don't want her being instructed to do something and then it turn around. And I'm not saying that anybody would do that. Michelle, you understand what I'm saying, but there's, it's questionable, and it's not the people, it's the situation. I would say it no matter who it was. And if it was me, I would certainly, want somebody to clarify, because I don't want the city getting in trouble, I don't want Kansas getting in trouble. So that's why I spoke up. I'm gonna help any way I can anyway, do what I'm doing, but I'm telling y'all, since he was sworn back in, I've not, to my knowledge, done anything mayor-wise. I came to that meeting before, but since he's come back, I have not.
My concern as a council, and I guess none of us talking here, but,
Other than the group text that we all received today.
I don't want the city to miss a grant or any of the paperwork need to be, that falls under the mayor's, duties, miss a grant or anything like that, or have to sign some papers, cause,
Well, Candace, you've been basically doing all that, keeping up with it since, haven't you?
I've
On top of
been taking care of
else.
everything and just getting Mr. Gary to sign. The only thing is, there's a few things that I don't know about some FEMA stuff that and I've been putting them off about 6 months on that.
Mhm.
And they're working with me on it because they know the situation. But I don't have records of the stuff they need, because I've got a year's worth of missing records. Just so you know. Not, obviously, y'all can figure out which year, but there's some stuff I don't have, and I don't have anything for them.
Why can't you just ask him? I mean,
Why can't I ask him what?
if he feels like he can't do it.
Well, first of all, I don't think it's my place alone to ask him that. I don't want to.
Yeah, there's nobody else really in charge here. I mean, just the way that your system of governance is set up, there's no one person in charge. Like your council president's sole job is to run the council meetings. They don't.
You're not,
And sign
Other
checks
any more,
and things like
right,
that. I
other
don't have any more
more
power
power
than
than
anybody else
us.
on this council.
Right. So if you all came to a consensus that you wanted to nominate a representative for the council to go have a conversation with Gary, that would be fine. You could do that, but I don't think any single one of you has, well, I know that
No.
none of you have the authority to act, outside of this council room, but, I know, I didn't really get into a lot of my health issues last summer, but y'all saw a lot more of Mr. Butts at your meetings last summer. Like, people have health issues and can't always keep up the pace that they're, I'm trying to correct, they're accustomed to. Like, it happens. It's not, it's part of life. Business had to go on. I had to send someone to my place sometimes. That's kind of the situation I think that we're in now. We just need to have the conversation with him. If he's able to keep up, that's great, but it doesn't sound like he can keep up. And so we need to, need to just take a leave of absence for a couple of months, so that, officially it's on the record that the mayor pro tem can step in and take this over. I think that would ease everybody's minds.
Well, and like I said, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I don't want us getting behind, and I don't want Candace is doing enough. Now Candace is having to do more work, and Candace is getting instruction that she's not sure where it's coming from. And I don't know of any of us sitting here that actually wants to have that conversation, with Gary. But I really don't know how to proceed, but that's the second time that I've heard out of Candace's mouth something that made me give pause, and I just don't want that to become a habit again. It's nothing against Gary, and I also don't want him to think that we don't want him up here or anything like that. I want him well and able to do, what he wants to do and needs to do. it's a dilemma.
Does that mean I'm doing it?
No, I was gonna ask Michelle to do it.
Huh?
I was gonna ask Michelle to do it.
Well, it's to leave after, and it's not, then, just talking with the council and all the business that's going on up here, maybe you just, cause there's a lot of work that has to be
I
done right
understand
now.
his wife is helping. I would be doing the same thing. Any of it's good for our spouse. But it puts Candace in a bad position.
Well, we can't take, like she said, we can't take stuff from spouses.
Yeah.
After he sees this tape, I don't think you're gonna have to ask him anything.
Huh?
Probably
After he
not.
watches this tape, he's gonna know exactly what you're already talking about.
Well, and that's why I said, it's a bad situation, either way we go.
Cause we don't wanna hurt his feelings or anything, that's not what we have to do, but we looking out for the city in the meantime. That's what we have to do. Just maybe send him a letter saying that, maybe you should just take a leave absence for now until you feel better. Because to me, that could be stressful to him. Cause it would be, I wouldn't be thinking, if I was sick, I wouldn't be thinking about this. I'm telling you, I wouldn't.
Well,
Nope.
It may, on the other hand, give him something to look forward to get well, to resume,
But-
because he knows that he's the mayor and he's trying to get well so he
Yeah,
can do that, so I can see that from both ways. I just feel really bad.
But you could start with 4 weeks,
Take a month or and see how things turn, how he feels and stuff.
Are we legal, is that legal for him to just take a leave of absence and then Becky be mayor pro tem?
yes.
Okay.
But we need that officially on the record, to establish her authority. The only other way I could do it was if he had been declared incompetent through some legal means, which he hasn't.
No,
That's
no,
not where
no,
we're
no.
going.
I don't think you'd have a problem with that. Like you say, my standpoint, you just don't know how long you're gonna be out. The city's getting, I'm not saying the city's getting further behind, but I know
Well,
there's grants.
it's more work on her.
Yeah, there's more work on our, clerk, and there's some stuff, like she said, she don't know nothing about, she just keeps putting them off. They put them off another 6 months, and put the city in further.
Well, today I try to share everything that I have to share without causing issues, but I did get a notice today that this quarterly report has to happen, and I don't know anything about it. I can work with the lady, and we can do something which is basically gonna make another extension, but,
and that's on one of the grants.
no, it's on FEMA. But it's all FEMA stuff that has happened. We've got FEMA from 2014
Oh, I
that's
know.
never been closed out, so I don't know anything about any of it. I can't find the records on it. I mean, I wouldn't want him to see it on a video though, and somebody not personally speak to him prior to that. That would be very hurtful to me if I was in that position. Just saying.
I truly don't think he'll be upset. I think he's as frustrated. Yeah,
Because he can't be here.
right. I mean, he wants to be here. I think he's just as frustrated as the situation is.
I'm sure he is very frustrated. Miss Mary, would you wanna talk to him?
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
I mean, you guys have a really good relationship, right? Would the council be okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a problem with it if the rest of the council doesn't.
Becky doesn't have enough work to do. She wants more work. Candace doesn't have enough work to do. She wants more work.
No, you're wrong about that.
And we want you to get well, so Candace and Becky.
It don't matter. speak to him.
Well, she has.
Well,
good
somebody
relationship.
speak to him before.
Yeah, I'll
This
go there
video
right after
comes
this.
Okay.
She can speak to it, but also, Candace, with that said, now, anybody, it's on me, you know, 'cause I speak my piece, you know, and I'm over it. It don't matter who it bothers. But the thing is, you know something, tell us, Candace.
That's what we
I
need
do
to
if
see.
y'all got.
I don't care, I know you tender-hearted, and you don't wanna step on people's toes, but
You
you
gonna
got to step on people's toes every now and then to keep the city afloat, keep the city on the
Well,
right track.
everything's floating, don't worry about that.
Well, I think
We
what
doing
he's
the
saying
job.
is we know that you
Jason
don't want to
usually
rock the boat.
passes
the
Sometimes
ball.
you gotta rock
You
the
know,
boat.
You don't wanna throw nobody under the bus and rob them, but you don't wanna do.
Just like me, I'm
hurt
gonna rock
anybody.
somebody's boat in a minute. I
Okay,
hate to, but, you know, that's life.
but is your consensus that you would just like to see him take a little leave of absence, 4 weeks?
And that's provided for in the charter, if, you know, his absence, sickness,
Okay.
resignation, or other inability of,
Right.
the mayor, you know, president of the council
Will be the
takes on those duties. It says that the, you know, president of the council also gets the mayor's compensation during that time, but that would be something up to y'all.
Well, and I don't have a problem, you know, with him calling me or texting me or emailing me. I just wanna know that it's him doing it, the same as with Candace. And that would be with anybody. It has nothing to do with the two particular people involved. It's just a situation. And, you know, out of concern for Candace, like I say, this is the second time I've heard this, and so I have to say something. It's very uncomfortable, but it's concerning for her to not know who she's talking to when she's having to take direction. It would be the same way if it was any one of us as spouses, and she understood that she was talking to them, being given directed something about instead of one of us. It can't happen whether sickness or not, you know, it just shouldn't. She shouldn't be under that pressure of not knowing and doing something that's gonna get herself in trouble.
On a separate note, Jason, don't shoot me. I promise this is quick. Y'all voted at the last meeting to go ahead and put Yellow Jacket out to bid. But the next day I got an email from Dale that he was our engineer who was sending it to DOT, and he was asking her permission to put it out for bid. So I did not put it out for bid yet because I was awaiting all that to come back.
So,
And I think it did on Friday maybe, but I've had all those other calls to do today, so I didn't talk to Dale today.
so you gotta find out from Dale when you're supposed to
I'm
advertise.
gonna get exactly what it's got to do, but I did not put it out for bid because that very next morning I had an email from Dale where it wasn't actually approved from DOT yet to go out.
Okay, so you still don't know when it's gonna go out?
It should probably go out in the next week, but I'm just letting y'all know it's not done yet.
Okay.
One note on the new thing that they was talking about, she knows, he was talking about Courtney Newsom, old and new. That's his neighbor, which, they don't haul canoes out there anymore. I'm up there all the time, so I know.
Yeah, I didn't, that's why I didn't know anything
That's right
about it.
side of him.
But also, and I asked, what kind of business, was it just canoes? Because the last thing that was brought in front of us was not just canoes.
It was
And
housing.
it's not what's being advertised.
Oh, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, see,
He's
Sleight of
getting piece
hand
by
there.
piece, trying to,
Michelle, you're listening to all this because you got to do the research.
because,
Yeah.
because he's got it in, what's it called?
Airbnb.
Hey, thank you. And they're operating already.
yeah, they done,
They're doing it.
They're
Yeah,
doing
they don't
things.
have any issues.
they doing it illegal right now.
Right.
And people stepping on their toes, and I know it, a lot of us knows it, but he was talking about Courtney Newsom and her husband, which since Courtney got married, there's not been no canoes coming out,
No.
out there south of them. In fact, I don't even think they own
No,
anymore.
they sold all of them.
I think they got rid of all that.
I told him there was a big chance that all that had been grandfathered in, done prior to the
Well,
city
she said they had
doing
been in
things.
business for 19 years, they probably had no kind of,
Well,
no kind of
here's my
law.
thing going on, Michelle, to look into it before I know that there's been business license issued for all kinds of stuff, on resident to residents and businesses, but what we're talking about, we already know, because it's been brought to our attention 3 or 4 different times now in meetings over the last 2 years, I think. This isn't just canoes. My first concern is putting a canoe off their property onto the creek with everything that Joey has said and that everybody that's come to the meeting has said. We still don't know where we're at as far as that goes and what it's doing to the environment.
That's what I'm saying.
Plus the rentals that are supposedly advertised on Facebook and the party planning and all that, that if the city just issues a random business license and somebody calls the law, which is my understanding happens quite frequently out there, they say, hey, I got a license from the city of Vernon, then guess what?
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, and I told someone, I was in the Springs Friday, they don't know me, they know me now. I was on the jet ski and they approached 2 individuals, my friends, invited them to a party Friday night. And both of them was pretty well lit. And the thing was, after they left, they tried to explain what it was, and I explained it to them. I said, no, don't go, because by 12 o'clock, the law will be there. I said, we have a problem with them right now. So, they don't know, they invite the whole people that goes to the Springs to come. They get revenue and all, but all they're doing to me, they hurt themselves. They know who I was, and I sat there listening to them. And when she pulled off, she's very friendly with anybody. She is. Now, he sits back and listens. But she told them, all of them there, hey, big party. And I said, I knew what the city was fitting to get into Friday night. I don't know if the law got called, how late they stayed up, but it goes both ways, and y'all know. People called me before I got to this meeting. They couldn't make it tonight. And I told them, I said, listen, it's a workshop. We can't just, vote on nothing anyway. I said, they ain't getting nowhere tonight anyway. But anyway,
Well, and
that said,
Well, part of the problem is they have no regard for your feelings. That's not their home. They live in Chipley, so they don't care that we all get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work, and they don't pretend to care. And traffic up and down now on that little bitty road, some of these people are hauling it. It's not okay what they're doing. And they've torn down trees. So my big thing about the creek, because that's why I live out there. I love that creek. And they're
come to the council about that not long ago.
We've been, this same tree. Yes.
Yeah.
So how does
That's
it
them.
oh, they got videos, pictures, the excavator going across the creek. He's built all kind of stuff on the water.
This has been going on
I
for
mean,
2
it's
years.
been going on, and really, what's really excavated, when you step on his neighbors have to get up 4 o'clock, and they push an issue and they're calling people out. So I don't know where it's going, but, I'm with anybody.
That was-
If he's legal,
that was a half
the
truth,
city,
though, what they were doing
Michelle
now.
checks into it and all. If we can't stop it, we'll have to issue the business license. But the thing is, any way we can, cause I know his intentions, he stole too many people. Like you said, he's trying to take that place up there, rent it out. First of all, residential into a commercial. He's gonna rent bedrooms out to people, and they just gonna have the whole weekend up there to party. And the people that we have to deal with, our local people and our residential people, have to put up with it.
Well, I asked him what the license was for, and he said canoe rental. He didn't say anything about anything else.
No, but there's a sign. What's it called?
That's
Play
my
and
point. I
stay.
was
Stay and
trying to
play.
get him to see if he
What's
was
the
gonna
name
tell
of
the
it?
rest of it.
Stay and play.
Stay and play.
Yeah, that's why I asked that, because we've already been approached by neighbors saying, and somebody even pulled it up on Facebook at one of our last meetings. That's not what he's asking. He's not just doing canoes, but that's what he's asking us for, is a
Right.
canoe license.
He's told them up there at the spring party every weekend. When he finally gets through cabins and all, it's gonna be a party haven for the people that goes to the Springs. If they don't wanna go home, come right on down the creek, have at it. He's building stuff on the creek. I mean, right on the water.
No,
It's gonna be underwater when the water comes up. He's got it 6 or 8 feet.
Well,
building
he
speed.
building there?
Yeah, in the last month or 2.
When I'm asking you, with DEP, can he build it there?
No.
He's not asking anybody to do
He's not-
that.
Well, then you need to call
He's
DEP.
just done.
Here's the thing, y'all asked me to contact, I contacted zoning.
Okay.
Y'all asked me last meeting, I contacted the zoning department, I contacted DEP,
Guys,
and I
she's
contacted the building department. All of them, so they were checking into it. I haven't heard
Well-
anything back from anybody.
I do. I checked with the building official. The last, job he done for us, I asked him. Nothing to do with the building official. He said it's water management. He said water management, as the water management's property, it's gonna be water management's property. So they got a new supervisor, Clay Cleve retired. They got a new guy in charge, and I haven't talked to him, but that's who what's gonna follow, water management. But, you know, to me, you know, water management could have made millions of what cost money. And to me, it's not right to just charge me a permit. I'd buy a permit. I'll tell it on the record. You know, if you hunt, you buy a permit. I'm the honest
Wait,
one.
it's water management property, not his property?
Somebody's water management. He's on the water. I'm talking about here from that camper on the water. He built stuff on the water. I got pictures of all of it. And, until they get a hold of the right person to stop it, you know, and they're working. People, the citizens are working on it. And he knows it. He's not no.
Yeah, that's why he's up here trying to make that.
Yeah, he's trying to see, he's, like right now, he's wanting a business license, because he's already got his business established going.
Yeah.
He's got people coming, renting and all, and, behind our backs, he ain't behind our back, cause I know, so a bunch of us knows, cause the lady, like I say, she's friendly now. She didn't know me, she knows me now, and I told the person, I said, wait till Monday night when she sees me, up there behind the council, but that's what I told my people, I said, listen, don't go down there. I said, go to the law. But anyway, we know where we stand, but I know all of us has to do the right thing. Michelle comes back to the council and say, listen, you know, he's in the guidelines, we have to do what we got to do, but anyway, that's where we stand on the issue, but, they, like I said, he lives in Chipley, and all it is a party area. He bought that, and he's turning it into a business, renting out the house and all, so we ain't heard the end of it, none of it.
Never imagine. Well, Sheriff, find out what you can. Does anybody else have anything? Thank you.
I have one issue, and I've talked with a bunch of y'all. 4th of July issue, Jason knows about it. Jason sent the lady to me. She's an RN in the hospital, and I don't know nothing about drugs. Period. The lady came up to me. She was wanting to speak to the rec director, and I advised her the rec director was in South Florida. She wanted to know who was in charge. I said, well, we all down here, 2 or 3 council members is down here. I said, you speaking to one? And I said, man, we got a meeting, workshop Monday night. I'll take her to the workshop. But she was highly mad. She's gonna put it on Facebook. I advised her, you know, wait to hear back from me. But like I told someone, you know, we can't, when we sell spots or things down there, you know, they do what we want to do. You know, actually, if I sell Becky a spot to sell just hot dogs, we sell hamburgers, she sells hamburgers, what we gonna do to her? The situation's over with, you know. But anyway, this box right here was handed to me. She had 3 boxes, and it was given to a 14-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl. The 11-year-old girl took this box to her dad and asked his dad how to use it. And I don't know nothing. I asked Jason about it. Jason explained it to me, and I told Jason, I said he could explain it to y'all, because I don't know nothing what it was. All she told me, we opened all 3 boxes. The same box comes. You can get the same box with a needle in it. And that was her concern to start off with, because she was plumb shaking when she got to me. And she said, I got a serious problem. And then she told me, and she opened the box up. She said, first of all, it's got a needle in it. And she's RN. And neither box had a needle in it. But my concern was, after the light was turned back on, Jason's sister come to me, and she said, give me one of them boxes. And I said, I gotta have that box for this city council meeting. She approached the person that was running the booth, and they had a few words back and forth. Left it at that. Said, we give the grown-ups, we didn't give the kids. But my concern was, you know, the 4th of July is fireworks for kids. Jason's got more on this issue. Jason found them in the bathroom, laying everywhere where people throw them down. This is a serious issue listened to Jason and listened to a couple of people I talked to. If a kid was to do this, cardiac arrest. I mean, serious. And,
Well,
you know, there's nothing the city can do, because we sold the booth to,
We
My
didn't
son-
sell- We didn't
Organization.
sell the booth, it's a nonprofit.
It was a
yeah, it's a nonprofit. My son received one of those boxes. He's an adult. He was driving one of our trucks and he put it in the truck. We found it the next morning. My husband was an EMT and firefighter and all that. So he goes and unlocks the truck and there's this box laid on his dash. And he said, "What is this?" And I said, "How am I supposed to know? What is it?" And he told me and I said, "The truck's been locked." And I knew that our son had the truck out at the sportsplex doing the volunteer work. And I texted him to see if somebody would give it to him. And he said, yes, a lady gave it to me and said if somebody overdoses, you give it to him. And I said, yeah, my son is 25 years old and he's a very intelligent young man. I said, "Son, would you recognize somebody overdosing?" And he said, "No, unless I actually saw him take something and fall out." He didn't know how to use it. It wasn't explained to him, nothing like that. My husband explained a lot to me about that and the dangers and if it's used the wrong way, if it's not used what it's supposed to, it can cause a lot of problems and it's scary to me that children got their hands on those, however they got them.
well, according, you know, when the conflict between the person, one of them that was running the booth said kids didn't hand them out, but kids did hand these three out, I know for sure, because, they explained, you know, about drugs, but she went to her dad and had the box open. One of the boxes was open with the item out and said, "Hey, how do you use this?" And that's an 11-year-old girl. And I got mad, because the thing is, you know, we down there trying to bring the city back and 4th of July is for kids and all. And, you know, I know kids can get a hold of things anywhere, but, you know, scary situation. And right in the city of Vernon, you know, that, because Jason cleaning up, he'll tell you, he found them in the bathroom, just laying around. He got 3 or 4 boxes. You know, they're everywhere. And so, you know, but my concern, and I talked to a couple of people, my wife and all, and I said, "Listen, if the booth was there and someone come up to me and, you know, had been on drugs or done drugs before and asked me for one, that's a different situation than a kid getting hold of one. Or just ask somebody, like your son said, you know, about the bomb. But, you know,
But he
thank
didn't
God
ask
no
for it.
one
He
got
was
hurt.
stopped. He was stopped and it was given to him.
Yeah.
Because he was actually, he was working there. He didn't just, you know, he went got food and all, but what he said to me was, "A lady gave me this," he said, "You use this if somebody overdoses." And I'm like,
That's what I'm saying, you know.
but I didn't know, and like I say, I didn't know that this had happened until the night with the kids.
Well,
I
Jason
thought it was
could
just
do it.
handed out to
See,
adults.
me and Lori was up there in the booth. Well, then when Lori walked off, this lady and her youngins come up there screaming at me. I had no clue they were handing these out. I was clueless, because I was in there having faith in the concession stand.
Well, I was there and saw the tin and everything and saw stuff on the table,
see,
but I didn't know.
they were doing that. And then when the lady come to me, she was griping at me, and I told her, I said, I have no idea. So I knew Joey was there, and I thought Miss Gwen had left, and I didn't know where y'all were at. So I seen Joey, sent her to Joey. So everybody started asking me then what it was. And the only reason I knew what they were is because I watched Frontline show on them in Detroit. So I knew what it was. And my only problem with it is, you know, I know you're supposed to watch your kids and everything like that, but there was a lot of little kids, and that box that I found in the bathroom was open, and it was in the girls' bathroom. So, and then I found one more in the field and 2 more by garbage cans on the ground. I mean,
So
I know it's a good thing, and I know it is, but if I tell you how to use that, and his kid picks it up, and they don't have a clue, that's my problem with it. I mean, I'm all for it, it's a great thing, it really is, but.
They have a great program, but
And they do, but It
But
just-
don't you think
He should be
that,
getting hold of
do
stuff
you
like
think
that.
a place like that would be a place to hand them out?
No, and like I say,
You know what I
I
mean?
saw
I
the
could see.
tent, and I saw the people, and I saw brochures and boxes and stuff like that. But I didn't stop and go pick up the boxes and look at them and see what they were, and I knew nothing about it until the next day, when we went to get in our truck. And Jason, of course, he just parked the truck, locked it, brought in the keys, and went on and didn't even think about it, he just, to tell us, so I had to contact him to find out. So, the only thing I can think of that even nonprofits and all the organizations that are out there from now on, we need to know what they're handing out. Well, it's no different than, I know that my daughter had to fill out for her bake sale, what she was doing, what she was giving out, it was on the application. I don't think that there was an application that said we're handing out Narcan boxes.
When I got the it's gotta be from the one nonprofit, it is the only one I can assume that was from.
Yes.
And I printed it and gave it to Nikki, I didn't even go over the application, so I really couldn't tell you if it says it on there or not.
We're, in the future, we're gonna have to be more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know
We
I'm
had,
doing
well,
that,
I
I
don't
just
know, we had a
didn't.
man out there that had a skunk.
I
Pet
saw
skunk.
him at the store the other day.
What? He had a
Yeah,
pet
with the
skunk.
That skunk in
Oreo.
Fourth of July.
Yeah.
He had to been
Oreo.
new, that's what I told Miss Gwen.
Oh,
I
he
said,
just brought it, he didn't have a booth set up.
No, he was
Okay,
just walking around with
I
it.
know I
Miss
didn't see
Gwen
that.
was looking for it.
She's got it in like a glass backpack or something, like a
Huh?
plastic backpack.
No, he didn't, he had him on a leash.
I'll get you one, Miss.
Well, I know there was dogs out there, but I
No,
didn't see.
that dog was, cause he had his,
Yeah, I saw more than one dog out there. I know the one you're talking about, yeah, he had.
with the
shoulder harness, the
wheelchair,
harnesses
he had
and
his harness
everything.
on. But that
And the
skunk,
other one
he had
was on
a
a
leash
leash.
on him. What is he or she, whatever it is.
Hey, it's funny to me because this is the first time that it's not me telling about some foreign animal.
Hey, she told me that.
I said, Joey, I was looking for you, there's a man with a skunk out here, now I don't know what we need to do about it. This man told me, he
Can't tell
said,
him no skunk,
he's
you
been
can have dogs.
no, he said that, you're supposed to have, the guy in the wheelchair that has a service dog, said that you're supposed to have a special license. He said, I bet you have to have a special license to have a wild animal like that.
She was
have it.
looking for him. I'm gonna get everybody
No, I
to
told
do-
Joey, I said, go tell him to take the skunk out of here, I didn't.
Joey used to have a pet squirrel.
But he said, you didn't bring him to the sports plant on the leash. You know, it just didn't
But,
look, it didn't look to me.
in the
It just
future though, I'm with Vicky, we need to,
Kind of look at
put
these,
in applications and just, nonprofit or whatever. And
we
see
need to
what
look what they're
they,
doing.
cause the thing is, it could've got a serious.
But see,
effect
and not
to
only that, our sign says no pets, you know that. That sign out there says no pets.
I have proud of the little kid that she went to her dad because she
Yes.
could've gone with some friends
And they could have did something.
And I'm thankful that there weren't any needles in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So,
I'm sure they wouldn't not pass that in there.
Well, somebody said some had needles.
they do, the same box, the
Have
RN, Jason said.
And that's why I told her, I said, once I figured out what it was, I mean, it really is a good thing for people, but just not there at that time. So, that was my problem.
Well, and
she was
it can cause a lot of problems if it's not
Yeah.
used the way it's supposed to be used to.
yeah.
And I appreciate what they do, don't get me wrong, I do, but I didn't know that was being handed out, or I'm sure if any of us would have known that, we would have agreed, no, not out there with all the kids and.
Like you said, if someone came up and asked them for it, that's a different story.
Yeah,
You know,
totally
they
different
wanted it
story.
and they
Yeah,
asked them
not just
for it,
handed out.
but don't just hand them out.
I got one more thing, Becky, on the 4th of July, I looked and I was telling, I know we have to go through the county in a local agreement, but the firework issue. They call it a practice field, the football field,
I know what
above the
you're talking
softball
about.
field.
Yeah.
They keep it mowed and all. It's up on a hill, sits above the softball field, but in the future, the city might wanna look at the, fireworks moving them back. And then you got the whole parking lot, but you're gonna have to get an agreement with the, county to do it.
And me and
But
Shaq,
the damage is, and I should have asked him, what damage do the fireworks do to the property as far as you know, cleaning up or holes or what.
I mean, just a little bit, they ain't much.
I know, like you said, once you set one up, it's history. You can't stop it because it's a
Because
chain
there-
reaction.
It
They
ain't
go.
like Boniface. Boniface lights theirs. I mean, these are all cables, wires,
Yeah,
and
it's
control panels.
control.
It's
They
a-
all-
I mean, this is a legit, I mean, so once they hit that switch, it blows up. There's no stopping it.
It's over.
It's, I mean, it's a done deal.
The only thing, and I agree that it's a good idea, and it's up higher, and it's just farther back. We probably wanna reach out to the school board and see if they would have a problem with that. Michelle, step in here if you need to. Because generally when we make the agreement with power shows, you know, we have to give the aerial and all that, so we're gonna need to get permission sooner rather than later if we wanna go ahead and set it up for next year. So that is a good idea because it is up higher.
And there's fences and gates to block everybody off from going. That's
Yeah,
what me
you
and
block
Shaq was
everybody
looking at.
off from going up there.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
you got both parking lots, middle school parking lot and high school parking lot. Neither school's blocking your view. You got
Yeah.
all that.
And there's a gate that blocks,
set
to
up.
block anybody from going. It's perfect, really.
Well, actually, it would put the fireworks higher.
Higher
for
up, too.
everybody
Yeah.
watching them at the sportsplex.
Yeah.
Because depending
Well,
on
see,
where you
it's
watch, some
always
of them
been,
will-
and we've been lucky if we had something happen yet. Because anything happens, you run on, the people run on top of them fireworks.
That's
I
what
mean, he knows, you know, the people's doing them, they cut down on the, they got it figured, they know them fair
Well,
how high the
and-
fireworks are gonna go. Even with a good year, the stuff falls, you know, on the
Yeah,
big,
The wind.
you know,
Well, I don't know
so.
how any of us survived at the football field
Oh, yeah.
when I was a kid, because we sat in the bleachers and
Bleachers,
they
and
set
they
them off
was
right
right
there.
on the
and they-
field.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if they'd have tilted one way or the other, half Vernon would have been taken out.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot safer now than what it used to
Yeah.
be.
They've come a long ways, and y'all have heard it, I've seen it on Facebook, you know, the end of the fireworks for the city of Vernon, that's out of the question, we know that.
no.
Whatever we gotta do, you
No.
Well,
know,
and
they
to be
cut,
honest,
They don't care.
this, you know, this was a minor issue, but everybody, and even last year, they saved us last year. Y'all know
Yeah.
how everything else went. The fireworks saved us as far as the 4th of July event last year. But I've checked around and I went on their website and everything, and they go all over. Michelle, they're still doing,
They're
We walk.
in Weewalt tomorrow.
Yeah, we-
yeah.
And the Weewalt fireworks are in a, you know, it's over, I think it's like Alice. It's a condensed little area where
Yeah.
people are all
Yeah.
stand all around the lake. It's a great show, just like
Yeah.
here. So they're accustomed to working in pretty, you know, tight spaces.
And like I say, I've not had, in the
Everybody
dealings
said
that I've had
enjoy
with them in the last 2 years, I've not had anything. And like, when I tell y'all that they were, the minute that I called, he answered, he was on it.
And we had a game plan both years.
Yeah.
With the guys that were out there. And I told them all day long that they needed something to contact me. So, I
And,
mean,
you know, Shaq was right there,
Yeah.
Shaq,
well, so,
So like,
you,
did anybody report anything to you? Shaq?
EMS got some
Huh?
yeah, refusals. But, I mean,
But nobody got hurt.
Nobody got banking hurt, no.
I think the officer's dog was got hurt at work.
Oh, the dog, canine.
You know, they got them
He
dogs
was the
trained,
worst.
now this is something, you don't think about it, but the officer, we sitting there talking. As long as the fireworks shot up there, the dog was fine, sat there and watched him. But once they leveled out, that dog thought his partner was getting shot at, he tried to tear that car up. He was bleeding all in his face,
Really?
trying to get these out of that car to get to it. Yeah, that's what it's funny, it's amazing how they train it.
yeah, it is. Well, I'm just thankful that it went as well as it did, and like I say, he's not from here, he came down from Tennessee. He's, and he told me that night that he would be willing to, you know, whatever needed to be done, and like I say, he's been in contact with me, and I know Candace ever since. And I'm glad that it went as well as it did. And like I say, I've seen video and I've talked to people that thought it was a fabulous show.
Well,
They
it
did.
was very good.
Then then there would be those that said, you know,
It was so good, I
you know,
thought.
it scared me a little bit. But everybody You know, only the few that were right there in the area that you were in
That's
even
right.
do anything.
See, I was in the high school parking lot, so
And
it
see,
didn't
my daughter
bother
was
me,
right
and I thought it was
behind
part
you,
of the
so
show.
that's how I got the
Cause
phone
I saw they
call
would
and
go
called
to.
them in the midst
It
of
must-
Oh, it looked like missiles.
They did
I
that
didn't
because they
run,
would low to the
run.
ground, and you
And,
could see, look like they were, of course, they come out, oh my God,
I
look at
said,
that, that's something.
well, and that's what I was saying.
People
you know,
were running
Talking about
over.
that. It was like-
Yeah, that's, we had family calls more wars that were worse than what went on out there the other
It
night.
was like flashbacks.
Yeah.
It was.
On a quick.
Just told on yourself there, Jason.
No, well, it's true. Our family used to have, everybody knows it, we used to have fireworks on for Christmas every
We
year.
used to shoot at each other, bottle rockets.
Better than that, we was uptown, we were just on the
Kids,
candy.
playing.
Oh.
So, but anyway.
I bet you didn't wear a seatbelt either, did you?
A lot of hair burn, a lot of.
Yeah. So if nobody has anything else, I'll ask for a motion to
Jack,
adjourn.
you ain't got nothing? Please sit back.
Jack, you ain't got nothing?
Oh, nothing.
Well, I make a motion
Nothing
to
I can see,
adjourn.
but that'd be second.
Jay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Hey, Jason.